The workforce index for October rose to a 55.4, which is the highest level for the year. Also, it's the highest it's been since December of 2008. Well, the index is basically a ratio between the AIM job postings and the Nebraska unemployment data. Well, this month, for the month of October, the job postings increased, and those job postings increased partly because we had an increased number of firms posting, but also the average number of jobs posted, I think, was the third highest level that it's been. So each employer has now increased the number of job openings. Meanwhile, unemployment levels are the lowest that they've been in a couple of years, and the current unemployment rate for Nebraska is 3.9, and that's on a seasonally adjusted basis. On an unadjusted basis, it's 3.4. And so we're the second lowest in the nation in terms of unemployment. Only North Dakota has a lower unemployment than Nebraska. Of the 16 industry groups that we track in CareerLink, 7 were the highest level for this in the month of October for this year. And those increases were food and agriculture and natural resources. Then some of our larger employer classifications, such as business and administration, finance and insurance, human services, marketing and sales. A couple of the others that were at the highest levels for the year was manufacturing and scientific research and engineering. Well, the workforce index is well above the growth neutral level. Meanwhile, when we look at Creighton's Mid-America business expectations and Nebraska business expectations, they were both down for the month of October to 46.5 for Mid-America and 45.5 for Nebraska. Well, obviously the Midwest and Nebraska is part of the national economy. There's a lot of uncertainty right now in the national economy. And that uncertainty comes from 2 or 3 major sources. One of them is gross domestic product, grew at an annual rate of only 2% in the third quarter. In the second quarter, it was 1.3%. And so for the year, it looks like we're going to have a growth in gross domestic product of less than 2%. Meanwhile, we've got an election and a lot of uncertainty around that election and different economic policies associated with each of the parties and candidates there. And then the other is this looming fiscal cliff. And Congress has to deal with this question between now and the end of the year. And if we don't see a good resolution, we could very well see major tax increases at the first of the year, as well as decrease in government expenditures, particularly in the area of defense. And there are some prognosticators suggesting that we could see, with unsuccessful answers to the fiscal cliff, the nation dropping back into a recession. So it's a pretty uncertain time. On the other hand, when we look at Nebraska employers, the Nebraska employers with this very high workforce index seem to be suggesting that they see some growth opportunities in the months ahead, even though the economic outlook, both regionally and nationally, is uncertain at this time. Well, I think what we're seeing right now is uncertainty in terms of what the answer will be. And so there's that high degree of uncertainty are causing people to essentially tread water in terms of employment and other business capital expenditures and other business activity. Now then, what's the answer? If the answer winds up being that the taxes increases, the various forms of tax increases in terms of income tax increases, there's issues associated with capital gains tax and a variety of other taxes. If all those increases take place, and if we see a reduction in government expenditure, particularly on the defense side, then I think the prognosticators are suggesting that we really could then see the economy drop into a recession or continue at a very, very slow growth rate. If, on the other hand, we come up with the answers that those tax increases will not take place, that the Bush tax cut will be extended, that we see perhaps a lowering of the capital gains tax, if we would see government expenditures somehow moderated, but not the draconian suggestions that are suggested by the fiscal cliff, then we could see a more optimistic economic future, and hence maybe increases in employment and capital expenditures and one thing and another. So there's two conditions that are going on right now. One is the uncertainty. The second condition will be around the first of the year as to what the answer really is.